All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're excited to share what we've been cranking on here with Capacity CoDriver and the results it's been delivering for HTS, one of our partners here at Parade, and how they've been able to drive twice the amount of coverage using CoDriver. You got myself here, Anthony Sutardja, CEO of Parade. We'll be joined later by Scott, who's VP of Operations at HTS. And let Hazy introduce himself.
How's it going, folks? I'm Hazy. I'm our head of product for our Capacity suite of products here at Parade.
And today we're here to talk to you about Capacity CoDriver, which is centered around the email. Conversations are the core to freight. We see across our platform we're sending and receiving 10 million emails every single month. And that's just what we see. We're just getting to touch all emails that are outside of Parade as well. And this is a pretty big challenge in terms of being able to drive operational efficiency for any brokerage team. Phone calls are not being picked up, emails are not being replied to because the volume is just too high. There's email overload, and from that, today's processes just can't keep up with the hourly email. We see that across even the smallest brokerage partners we work with, they're receiving anywhere from 5 to 10 emails every single minute. And to work through one of these emails, you have to look the load up in the TMS, and these are like emails that are saying things like, "Hey, is the load still available?" Go to TMS, take some time to go check the TMS if the load's still available. Oh, they didn't include their MC. And so now you got to go reply back. Hey, what's your MC? Let me just double check that. We can go into your carrier compliance solution and make sure that you're qualified to work with our brokerage. You meet the right service levels. And then you wait for that again. And then, oh, okay, now they got the right load information and what's the rate? And so the time to price action is quite long. And you multiply that out across those 10 emails every single minute. There's just too many emails. It's too time consuming to actually drive that lookup, verify, respond to those emails. And that just leads to missed opportunity. These trucks are getting booked out super fast. And so, what we heard from our customers, what we see happening in the email inbox is that these slow communications are just leading to missed opportunities. And AI that is here to really drive an acceleration of our people and our team, and the reps' time at every single brokerage is extremely valuable. The best carrier sales reps are essentially like a dispatcher for a carrier. That's the dream, where they know the lane prefs, they understand what they want to do, they want to help them keep those trucks being moved. Yet they don't have necessarily all the time to go develop those relationships because it's always a burning fire. There's always these emails to go respond to. There's the loads that they have to get covered on that spot board. And so these transactions that they're working on are highly very transactional. They're asking for tidbits of information that Hazy will just show us in a second here, which leads to the lack of time to store the right lane preferences in the TMS, in Parade, understand what kind of commitments we can drive long-term with these carriers. And oftentimes, because there's just too much going on, resulting in low response times to these carriers, carrier moves on to the next available load opportunity. So I'm going to pass it over to Hazy here to tell us more about the solution we've created to fix all of this.
Awesome, folks. Super excited to share a little bit more about CoDriver. We're going to give you a quick overview through this slide, and we can show you here what we've done to really help accelerate workflow for different inquiries that are just creating a deluge of emails in your inbox. Before I kind of kick off, I want to describe a little bit about what CoDriver refers to. CoDriver is Parade's flag on the ground that we're setting to introduce our suite of generative AI capabilities to the market to help drive efficiency and automation in every brokerage. What you see in front of you here is CoDriver inquiries. This product was developed to help our brokers work carrier leads faster than ever before and get to price action faster. You may ask, how does it work? And you get a quick sort of snippet of that on the right-hand side of the screen, where you see a conversation happening right in front of you that is happening all behind the scenes without any work from anyone in your team today. So when an inquiry comes in, Parade does a couple of different things. Our AI helps identify the carrier that's inquiring about a load, the load that they're inquiring about, and starts moving the conversation towards getting you a price for that load. And what you see here is exactly like a quick snippet of what that interaction typically looks like. Once a load has been identified, our AI will respond to the lead with all of the additional details about the load. Our AI will also try to automatically identify the carrier profile that's inquiring to ensure that we are matching up the right load with the right carrier. When the match is made, the AI will progress the conversation by offering a start rate or outright prompting the lead for a price. We're also cognizant that AI is not perfect. We've seen great success with this product, but we know that time is of the absolute essence. So whenever CoDriver stalls a conversation or gets stuck, and 5 minutes have already elapsed, we automatically have ways to quickly escalate that to your team. Now, moving on to our next slide to kind of just give you a quick overview of how this works with just a visual representation. To sum it up, there's 3 main components of what Parade is doing with CoDriver. The first one is emails come in so that we help qualify the inquiry, but making sure that we put the right load in front of the carrier and that we put the carrier's profile in front of the broker. So we know that that match is golden. The second piece is we respond with the follow-up information that the inquiry requires. So what you see there is a couple of examples, right? Here are the little details that you inquired about. What is your MC? Our rate is 1,000. Can you take it? And then that third piece is really getting you to price action faster. We actively try to get you a quote with every inquiry that every lead comes in with. Passing it to Scott.
And now we're super excited to talk about some of the results in practice with one of our partners, Scott over at HTS. And Scott, thanks for joining us today. We really want to hear more about how you all have deployed CoDriver within your org. But before we get started here, Scott, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us more about your business? Who you serve? What's the core specialty?
Yeah. Anthony, thanks for happy to join you. I'm excited to be here. Scott Steele, Vice President of Operations for HTS Logistics. We're a pretty traditional truckload brokerage firm. We've been at it for about 10 years. Today we're moving between 800 and 1,000 loads a week. Our core competency and what we cut our teeth on and where we built most of our volume, the kind of food and beverage space.
Gotcha. We've been working a while together, and I think we've connected your team with various partner networks, driving some email automation with these carriers. Some of that digitalization is happening through the digital bidding portions where the carrier can go bid digitally. But we noticed together that there's a lot coming over email. And just wondering if you could tell us more about your approach here. We talked before where it's trying to meet the carriers where they're at. How do you think about the carrier experience and just being able to engage these carriers out there?
So for us and for a while now, it's just been an exploration of trying to evaluate, look at the traditional transaction set. When I say that, I think about the kind of the post a load and take inbound calls and make outbound phone calls and be more thoughtful than we might otherwise be about, is that the way that a carrier wants to interact when they're looking for their next load or they're negotiating a rate. And that's really kind of what started our exploration down this path, is trying to understand, where does the carrier want to transact, and then aligning our resources to make sure that we're receptive and responsive to that. If carriers wanted to, I don't know, SMS text message, if they wanted to, I mean, we in the beginning, carriers wanted a hard copy rate confirmation, and we sent them across on fax machines because that's what the transaction set was, right? And so this, I think, is just kind of a natural iteration as you think about, as we all have moved to a more to this style of communication. Carriers want to email. There's a lot of business that's done that way, and it works. It works well for them. And so if it works well for them, then we need to make sure that it works well for us.
That makes sense. Just making sure you can grok however they're grokking on whatever tech they're using, and seems like a lot. It's just email to.
Yep, that's exactly it. And they, precisely, you said it way better than I could.
As it's over email, what goes into covering a load? Mentioned, is it like different types of quotes that have to get, like, is there a threshold? Like, how does your team, and like how much time does that really take on covering a load?
So I think that when you look at what goes into covering a load, regardless of the method in which you're communicating with the carrier, for us, like take a spot load, for example. Spot load is a one-off OD pair, that we've provided pricing, and we're going to go source capacity for this one opportunity. And so in that load, our team will establish a projected buy rate, the rate that we think we're going to buy, we anticipate buying capacity for. There's some factors that go into establishing that buy rate, but whatever our secret sauce is, the ingredients have been poured in accordingly, and this is what we project our buy rate to be. We then broadcast that opportunity out to carriers to get a sense of their availability and their current rate. Once we broadcast it out, I mean, that is designed to then pull in interested carriers that have trucks in the market, that are looking for that lane, that, and to bring a rate to bear. So we capture that feedback, and then we analyze the feedback and make a determination as to which option to go with. It's no more complicated than that, right? Like, we put it out there, we pull in the inbound traffic, we review the inbound traffic, and we say that's the one we're going to go with.
That inbound traffic, though, takes a bit of time to process now, from all these different emails, phone calls.
So the inbound traffic can sometimes take time to harvest. You have to be talking to carriers. You have to establish carrier sentiment. The more quickly you can establish carrier sentiment, then the more quickly you can make a determination. If for us, if the phones on a traditional brokerage floor, right? Like, if the phones aren't ringing, your team manager is going to tell you what? Your team manager is going to tell you to pick up the phones and start smiling and dialing. Like, if they're not ringing in, you gotta go outbound with the phone calls. And so it's really just about canvassing carriers to get a feel of what is the market clearing price for this rate today, or for this load today, pardon me. And so from that perspective, you can't, if the market is one carrier, you have your market rate as Mr. Carrier, trucking company A, what would you do this load for today? And when they say X, like, okay, if that's the only carrier that you're going to talk to, you have your market rate.
Right. Right. And so like trying to get that market rate, quicker through all these different inbound communications is, I think what we saw is like the joint challenge here where CoDriver, we focused it in on looking at a lot of these inbound emails for you all. We've now deployed it with your team, helping them process these emails faster that are coming inbound from the carriers. And it's been a few months, and we'd just love to hear from you, how has that adoption been? This is a new generation of tools coming for the freight brokerages. It's really exciting to see AI being deployed in this way. And what are the impacts you've seen, and how does it feel like on the floor?
So surprisingly, pretty organic. And I say surprisingly because like, ooh, big bad AI, like it's scary it really has been pretty natural. I'll credit the Parade team for being, at least from a layman's perspective, your team has been pretty thoughtful in their approach to developing CoDriver, and they're really supportive about not pushing it or making sure that people are comfortable with, we're going to go this step, we're going to go this much further, are you comfortable with that, we're going to go this much further. And I think really because of that approach, it's been organic, sincerely, and so it's just a natural extension of our workflow. It just feels like we're doing what we always have been doing, but at a higher rate, at a higher pace. What it feels like to the floor is it's just delivering the entire team more offers and more options. So like not everyone on the team is email facing, right? They're not, we have our reps, not hard coded, but some reps are more aligned with, they may be working the phones, and other reps may be working an inbox, for example, but we're all working the same freight. And so, as we work different strategies, different outreach strategies to talk to carriers to get freight covered, our kind of our central repository is this market clearing price, or this price action we're talking about, or these carrier offers, right? And so the team can just, they can feel, and they can see more offers in each and every load. And as you have more offers in each and every load, you have a better sense of what the market is signaling the load is going to cover for that day.
Yeah. And I think we're looking at data together, and we saw like this 4x spike in quote volume as we started processing and responding to these emails on your team's behalf. Sounds like it goes into the floor, and that they're able to see this. From a data perspective, we've been pushing it back into the TMS for you all. What are the use cases there that you're seeing in terms of having that quote data for your team?
So, the more quotes that are brought back into the TMS, like, again, that's where, as one rep is looking, one rep is inbox and one rep is phone, right? Like where all the reps, then their vision does become aligned again, is they're looking load by load on the open loads. What do we have for carrier? What do we have for carrier intel? What do we have for carrier offers that tell us, kind of what the street is telling us about this load? And so in the TMS, by order, offers come in and they're stacked. And in those offers, it's who brought the offer, who brought it, where did it come from, and what was the price conversation or negotiation that happened. And so the more of those that you have per transaction, the more more quickly and more clearly what the market clearing price on that load is going to be that day, comes to fruition. If you only have one offer, again, going back to the market, if your market is one carrier, it's one conversation, that's their rate, period. So if you have the opportunity to capture the rate sentiment from a dozen carriers, you're more than likely going to have a real good sense. You can feel better about the rate decision that you're going to make.
Makes sense. Talked a lot about, say, the price action of all of that. There's also this carrier experience component where, we see 5 to 10 emails might even come in a given minute. And with the AI, we're responding on the order of an average of like 10 seconds back to those carrier emails, like the right flow details and really starting that rate negotiation. What does that instant response to carriers mean to you in terms of driving a great experience with HTS?
It's about being active, and it's about being engaged, because you do have to, like, as we think about the traditional transaction set, right? I would call you, I would offer you a load, you would give me your rate, I would give you my rate, you would give me your rate, I would give you my rate. We would say, okay, are we going to make a deal or let's not make a deal? And we would hang up the phone and we would call someone else. And so you have to be at the core of however you're going to transact. At the core of it is, give me your rate, I'll give you my rate. Do we have a deal? Do we not have a deal? Right? That's what we're trying to do. It's one by one transactional, covering loads. And so if you're not real time in your responses, by the time you acknowledge the carrier's existence, the carrier has forgotten that you exist, right? Like it's all about the timeliness. Like, you have to make sure that you're there when they're there, so that if this is our marketplace isn't going to be on the phone, it's going to be in this email exchange right here, right now. It has to be right here, right now for everybody. And so it's the critical component.
Yeah. Really being able to just, I think we're responding to emails on the weekends too. And that's also helped just get some price action when maybe they're like a little bit softer coverage on the weekends as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. Let them know that you're there. Let them know that you're available. It's again how they want to transact, when they want to transact. Like, you got to be there, or someone else will.
We were on a call where one of your team members joined us 30 minutes prior and was just sifting through all the CoDriver activity and like booked several loads within that half an hour time span right before the call, and then showed up for the call, helped us debrief a little bit. That rate of productivity on booking loads is absolutely incredible. How are you thinking about the impact in scaling your volumes with your team?
I think we need more salespeople. I think we need more freight. We've measured productivity. Historically, we've measured productivity of reps, carrier salespeople, dispatchers, in a magnitude of, tens, right? Like 10 a day, 20 a day, like doing 20 a day, like you're doing work. And I think with the proper alignment, I think you could do 50 a day. I think you could do 100 a day. I mean, I just think that there's some workflow kinks that obviously have to be ironed out. But I mean, this is bringing more. It's bringing action to the table for sure.
Well, we're excited here. We're just getting started on this journey of deploying AI within freight brokerages, and really feels like we're making history here. Scott, appreciate the time today, and we're looking forward to continuing this great partnership with you all.
Yeah, so are we, Anthony. You guys have got something special for sure.
Appreciate that, Scott. All right.
All right, so we discussed a little bit about what CoDriver is, how it works, and what it does. But we really want to highlight what the outcomes you can expect are. So let's go over a few of them. One of the key capabilities that CoDriver will enable your brokerage to do is to respond to every single inquiry faster than ever before. Typically takes about 10 seconds for us to move through an inquiry, do that instant lookup, and be able to respond so that you never miss an email, right? And this is reading that email, checking that TMS, verifying that carrier, and also getting back to that lead. We can get you more quotes. Because we're able to respond to every conversation faster than ever before, we've seen as much as 4x growth in like the quotes that we're able to pull in for our brokers. And this is really important because you have more options in front of you so that you can get to price action fast. We do this by minimizing that back and forth that traditionally sort of required at the outset of inquiry negotiation. We take over that and we get your team to sort of work once a rate has come in. 2x the loads, we're able to cover more freight in less time. Because CoDriver is now taking over so many more conversations, getting so many quotes through the door, the capacity that a carrier sales rep will have to be able to cover more freight is significantly expanded so that your business can take on more. And 24/7, CoDriver doesn't have a time that it goes to sleep. It's available to your carriers around the clock. It delivers a carrier experience that really sort of secures trucks and loyalty that is so necessary to not only grow your network, but to also maximize your carrier relationships. And the last piece is over 4x the data. We never forget a carrier. And so every single interaction that's coming in, we are constantly creating carriers and adding them into your network. So one, that you're aware of them, but also getting those quotes in through the door so that you have that full picture of what capacity and rate signaling looks like in the market. I am really excited to bring this product to you guys, and we're really excited to see the outcomes that we think we can help our customers achieve.
Thanks, Hazy. And thanks, Scott, too, for that overview of how they deployed it in practice. We cannot wait to see what all of you all are able to do with CoDriver. Really feels like we're breaking new ground of the future of freight. If you want to catch a demo, reach out to us on our website, shoot us an email, sales@parade.ai, reach out to your customer success manager as a current Parade customer, and we'll see you on a call.